Welcome to Sunday Journal. I'm Gritty Collane in the CapeCod.com News Center, and I'm joined today by a special guest, an entomologist from Barnstable County. Do you mind introducing yourself for our listeners?
I am Larry Dapsis, entomologist for Cape Cod Cooperative Extension, and a new grandfather.
All right, that's awesome, Larry. Congratulations. The conversation today was centered around a new species of tick discovered on Martha's Vineyard. People might be concerned while we're talking about ticks after the summer season is over, but that doesn't mean tick season is over, from what we've gathered from you.
It is never a strange time because tick season is 365 days a year.
All right, of course, indeed. We've learned that well over the past few conversations that we've had with you. So we wanted to focus as well a lot on it's the Asian longhorn tick that's been discovered on Martha's Vineyard.
Yes.
It's non-native species, and it has been attributed to several deaths of cattle out in Ohio. Actually, have been attributed to this tick. So I wanted to reach out to you and ask a little bit more about this species. Is it a threat to humans? What should people be doing? And a little bit more about this new critter.
Sure. Asian longhorn tick was first detected in, I think, Ohio in 2017. So it's an invasive. It was first found here in Massachusetts last summer out in Berkshire County. And this summer, there was at least one detect on Cape Cod. So we've got a new tick in town. What are the implications of this? It's a new tick. It's something that we want to be conscious about. But what's the threat level? And the thing is, the way I position this is that the threat level for people is low, okay? Because this is a tick species. It will bite people, but it's not prone to bite people. It prefers things like, horses and cows and sheep. It's really a livestock pest. And the news that's been generated recently is that, you got this new tick and with a reproductive cycle, which is unusual, and they can build up the big numbers on, and I think you called this out. It can bleed out a cow. It can bleed out a cow based on the numbers that it can attract. But for people, it can carry the pathogen that causes Rocky Mountain spotted fever. But we've only had actually one detect of this tick on Cape Cod. So I'm looking at this as being like, we're going to put this on our radar screen, but definitely do not distract us from ear tick, which is the biggest thing that's a threat for us.
All right, that is excellent to hear. That's not necessarily targeting humans. It's got a preferred diet of mostly livestock. How does something like this end up in Massachusetts? End up on Cape Cod? What are some of the ways that invasive species like this tick can find its way onto our coastal communities?
I think we have tourists to blame. Yeah, things like this and other invasives like brown wire-red extinct bug that have gotten established in the central United States. But when you think about it, we have a lot of people up here coming from Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, where these things are established. And I definitely convinced that we have tourists introducing these things to us. Because ticks and other creatures like brown marmoset extinct bug, they are phenomenally good hitchhikers. Tourists are bringing us business from a public health department standpoint.
That is certainly looking on the silver linings with Larry Dapsis when it comes to invasive tick species. But that is really interesting. I do kind of wonder how many species of animal have found their way onto Cape Cod just by virtue of hitching a ride on somebody's dog. I believe that there had actually been a small mouse or a snake species that had been found in somebody's car, and they'd driven onto the bridge and had been discovered later when they were heading to their place to stay on Cape. So it is very interesting to kind of factor that into migratory patterns of animals.
I would love to actually set up a station on the Sagamore Bridge and do vehicle checks on what's coming in, because I know there's all kinds of things coming in.
Yeah, very interesting indeed. But that is it is certainly to note that you guys are also putting this on your radar to check out, especially as we have more people heading outside. We've had some relatively nice weather as of late. For people who just might not be familiar, as they're maybe heading outside, checking out some trails with their dogs, we did see that even on Martha's Vineyard, they're actually setting up tick warning signs. But can you give us a little bit more detail on how people can stay aware, what they should be doing to protect themselves, protect their pets?
Yeah, Grady, we put out, actually 10 years ago, we got a grant. We put out tick signs to all the conservation areas and places like that. So we've been putting out those type of warnings. But I think that for our benefit, our program is that we put out a playlist of 10 YouTube videos on tickology. And we put out like 90 minutes of information online. And one of the most important videos is on the importance of using permethrin-treated clothing and footwear. Hands down, that is the most effective way we have to prevent getting a tick bite and an infection. So go to our website, capecod.gov, and /ticks, and you will find an amazing video series coordinated by me. And you'll get a lot of good information. Plus, my contact information is there, Dapsis at capecod.gov, and we're always open for business.
All right, awesome. Thank you for sharing. We have lots of tips on there as well. So we, as well, while I had this conversation going with you, I wanted to ask about some other species that I know you guys have been keeping an eye on as of late. I believe there'd been talk about spotted lanternfly, other invasive species, and I think that you'd mentioned Lone Star tick as well last time we had a conversation. So I just kind of wanted to ask in general what you guys have been seeing with warmer weather, with climate change ongoing. What are some new species in town, and what are things are you keeping on your radar?
Lone Star tick is something I found on Cape Cod about 11 years ago. So it's found a nice home here on Cape Cod, and based on field evidence, it's spreading around. The game changer with Lone Star tick is that it has pathogens, but it can trigger an allergy to red meat consumption, which I know we have had here on Cape Cod. So that can be as mild as hives to anaphylactic shock. So it's a game changer for us. So it's moving around. In terms of other invasive species, spotted lanternfly, it's been detected here. mostly at gardening centers that are importing stock. Um, Spotted lanternfly has been established in northern Worcester County and western counties. So it's on our doorstep. So it's going to be a pest of, like, usually shrubs and people are growing small berries, including grapes, but it's coming. I wouldn't put it on the verge of like panic, but it's something. It's like a number of things. It's on our doorstep.
I'd love to know kind of what the workflow is for you guys, especially is it just an Excel spreadsheet where you just have like various color gradations, the DEF-CONs for which species to kind of most address at a given moment? I'm sure that you guys probably have dozens of different animals on hand, different insects that you're keeping an eye out for.
Yeah, actually, if you go to our website, our website manager, Rebecca Westgate, manages us to a fine tune. She is phenomenal, and she keeps us as a link to UMass Extension, including their fact sheet. So anybody wants anything on anything, basically, you can find it through us or UMass.
All right, awesome. Good to know. So, as well, you have a tendency to travel around the Cape and do various workshops and demos and other outreach opportunities there. Do you mind kind of highlighting some of what's been going on for you as of late? Some things that people can look forward to if they are interested in learning about their local environment?
Actually, contact their libraries or senior centers. I mean, I do workshops not only on ticks, but I do workshops on pollination ecology, insect evolution, edible insects, and one of my latest workshops is on forensic entomology, using bugs to solve crimes.
Very interesting. It brings me back to college days criminology courses about the decomposition. I don't want to I don't want to gross anybody too much out who might be listening in right now. We'll save that for another segment. But
actually, it can be gross up, but it actually can be quite fascinating for people.
Good. That's awesome. Definitely excellent to pique people's interest and curiosity, especially in ways that help the justice system with more scientific knowledge.
Exactly.
All right, awesome, Larry. Well, I appreciate it so much for having this conversation with me, talking more about the ticks in general, but setting the record straight on this new species spotted in Martha's Vineyard and on Cape Cod. Is there anything else you wanted to highlight for our listeners while I still have you? Not just about that new species, but just anything you wanted to touch on while we're here.
No, I want people to not be tick afraid, because tick season's year-round. I want people to be tick aware and understand that there are resources and techniques that we are making available to reduce your exposure risk and your risk of a tick-borne disease. Because the thing is, Grady, one bite can change your life.
Indeed. Well said. Definitely something to be aware of, and something so small can definitely be life-changing. So it's excellent to keep up to date and have the latest information about how to keep yourself safe.
Excellent, Grady.
All right. Thank you, Larry, so much for joining me for this conversation. I really appreciate it.
All right. You take care and have a great day.
I'm Grady Gillane in the CapeCod.com News Center, and thank you for listening to Sunday Journal.